This morning we had our controller, Deputy Controller, Health Secretary, Health Minister, as well as the Electoral Commissioner, and myself. We will keep presenters to the combined session with the governors and our key ministers for us to talk on COVID-19 containment, as well as living and working with COVID-19 into what will be momentous 2022 national general elections. Some would say 2022 elections are far off, but it's just months. It's just months, and preparations start more importantly in the year facing the general elections. So I just thought we have this to inform our country and our key stakeholders. A key result of this meeting was the fact that we established as national government will not step down into provinces to micromanage this key work, whether it's COVID-19 work or election preparations. We will remain up at the top, at the macro level, in as far as policy planning is concerned, regulation, construction is concerned, resourcing, mobilizing resource and transfer of resource is concerned. That is where national government will remain up at the top. We want to empower a clear, distinct distinction between my present leadership and the past leadership is that I'm willing to empower provincial governments to take ownership, take responsibility, because situations in province to province does vary, whether it's circumstantial variations or geographical variations or cultural variations. Province to province are not same, so a uniform approach cannot be the same. We at national government construct the policy ambit and the focus and the resource envelope, but we want to empower provinces to dovetail or tailor-make their provincial plans, whether it's for COVID-19 or election or others, as far as development is concerned going into the future. And with COVID-19 sensitivities running through this year and into next year, and with elections facing us, which indicate to provincial governments, you are now empowered to step up your own plans and send them to us, and we will now see how best we could address them. For COVID-19, a key committee that we've established since last year was the provincial control centers, of which the provincial administrators coordinate, and provincial health authority CEO and the provincial police commander important three personals running the province's response team. And so today's meeting re-emphasized this again, that every province, if not established yet by today, and it is really incumbent upon every provincial governors and provincial governments to take ownership of COVID response, as well as key national government programs like election preparations that we want to embark upon. And so today we ask for the provincial governors to go back home, take stock. If these three key persons, the provincial control centers are established, and for them, in as far as COVID is concerned, for them to tell us the response plan they have in the provinces, and we've agreed to them today that we will do our utmost best to ensure adequate vaccination doses available to those that needs to be inoculated. We've also agreed to them that we will try to the best of our ability create minimum 200 new beds in all our provincial hospitals in as far as ICU facilities concerned, that should have oxygen ventilations attached, and hopefully this time next year, right across the country, we'll improve from the present just 200 beds nationwide to over 200 beds each province throughout our 22 hospitals in our country, representing our 21 provinces and our special region of Government. So we've indicated to them that national government willing to now support our provinces to assist the provincial plan in response to addressing COVID issue in as far as both the non-clinical as well as the clinical side of things is concerned to stop COVID-19. Last year, as I did indicate in one of my questions, we went on a hard approach when our first index case appeared, and the result of almost 3 months of shutdown, lockdown, and strong hand approach delayed what could have been a spread of COVID-19 in our country by about a window of 6 to 9 months to a year. And today, lucky for us, and by God's grace, when vaccines are available on market, we're seeing this spike, and we're trying our absolute best today to ensure additional vaccines come into our country. We roll out vaccines to essential staff, including medical workers at the earliest, and support the provinces in their response effort to address COVID. And the address and appeal to our citizens will come, including the clinical strategies, will also balance with the non-clinical strategy. And some of our discussions today was like provinces who are not contacted to the rest of the country by roads. We have to restrict unnecessary sea traveling in or air traveling in. And so again, as we've said already, this is not ordinary time. Papuans who don't need to travel around have no need for traveling around. You just don't need to travel. Stay put where you are. Educational needs and health needs are essential needs to travel, then we can accept that, or work need. Unnecessary social travel and other travels are restricted, so we've encouraged provinces like Oro Province, Manus, New Island, special region in Bougainville, others who are not connected into Port Moresby by road, or the Highlands highway footprint by road, we've asked those provinces to try to localize their own protocols in as far as management of people going in and out, and we try to suppress COVID from spreading through non-clinical approach. But we're also ramping up our efforts to assist provinces to help support, fund, and resource them in as far as the clinical approaches are concerned. So I just thought I'll advise the country through press the reason why we have this meeting today. First meeting in which we attach Electoral Commission into this COVID discussion, because next year election will be conducted in presence of COVID in the community. Something new at my instruction that we might introduce to clean up the voting process is we're trying to have biometric and electoral roll that is registered electronically with photograph attached to all our voting population. So this conversation will mature in the next month or two. For 2022 elections, we want to clean up in the face of COVID-19 also, and for COVID-safe voting practice next year and campaign practice next year. We want to tidy the common roll aspect, where one person, one vote can be secured through a better common roll that is linked to an ID system based. So this process will be looked into by Electoral Commission. They've tried electronic-based voter update in Council Ward in Kupiano, I think, if I'm not wrong. It has worked very well, and we will try to expand this in a big way. And hopefully, if this technology is secured, then for next year, that block voting, group voting, rushing in for ballot papers will be stopped, and ID-based voting will come into play for 2022. Something a Pangu-led government want to give to the country, a better voting process for 2022, and that should also assist in that, in our efforts to stop COVID from spreading during big community events like COVID-19. So we're working with the Electoral Commission to ensure there's a COVID-safe voting procedures developed, and for people, I'm just forewarning those who will be voters in 2020. When we come into the second half of this year, when we expand on voter identification and registration, that will also coincide with what will happen earlier in census data upload. Our voters are encouraged to participate in this, because it will be sort of a game-changing first step into what will eventually, hopefully into the future, be a biometric voting system. But we will start with an electronic voter identification process at the very earliest. And Electoral Commission today, in the first announcement to leaders, they indicate that this is the step they're taking. And we will digest this, but I will work personally with them to ensure this cleaner, better voting system is advanced for 2022. That should hopefully eliminate the rush for one-day voting that could allow communities to have a couple of days, 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, because each one by that would have an ID to vote. So you could have a spacious voting and not be all rushing into a polling booth in one day, just like up in the Highlands where we have one day where we are crowding into the polling place. So this all tidied up, and we've just had our COVID discussions and our election discussions in the presence of political party leaders and governors for them to participate in this going forward. For the election planning, it's a bipartisan approach. I've invited the opposition for them to also be part of this election planning going for 22, so that everyone knows what is coming and we have a fair place to compete for public office in the 2022 general.